Hello, my name is Sara Fellini. I'm the artistic director reporting for Spit&Vigor here. And today I need to make a drawing for our upcoming production of Lunar Eclipse. It doesn't have a logo as of right now. We have been using as kind of a placeholder a shape of a moon for a play about people whose last name is Luna, and we've felt that was really clever. We decided to go with a type of kind of retro font and the symbol of the moon. I had an idea where I would like to try to make, one of the main characters is this woman who is this kind of drunken eccentric, and so I would like to make her kind of languishing with one arm out in a moon shape. And I was going to take a photo of myself doing this, but I just keep forgetting the SD card for the camera when I go to the space, and literally it's just that little nonsense detail that is now forcing me to make a drawing. So I am going to make a drawing. I'm going to first, I have this little bowl full of just this tiny pair of scissors, among other things, little piece of paper with my sister's address in it, and some bobby pins and stuff. I'm gonna trace this because I think it might be a good size. I want a pretty big size because I'm gonna put this into Photoshop and I'm going to edit. I'm gonna pull out the black lines of it just to have a black line drawing. So I have to make it kind of crisp and clear, and I think this is a good size. Ideally, I would be able to do it a little bigger, but my hand just goes very small. I always make very tiny drawings, so this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna put the camera down so you can watch me do it. I always enjoy watching time-lapse videos of drawing, so hopefully this will be fun. Here we go.
What do you do in the evening when you don't know what to do? Read a book, play a game. Every night it's just the same. What do you say if I tell you how to keep from feeling blue? My advice is good to take, and it's easier to do. When you're all alone any old night and you're feeling mighty blue, pick up your hat, close up your flat, get out, get under the moon. Underneath the bright silvery light, you'll be feeling better soon. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, get out, get under the moon. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Look at those stars above. Look at those sweeties glow. Oh boy, give me a night in June. I mean it, when you're all alone any old night and you're feeling out of tune. Pick up your hat, close up your flat, get out, get under the moon. When you make a date any old night, you gonna meet your sweetie soon, are you?
Okay, so that was a little mock-up. So I'm gonna send that to executive producer Adam Belvo and to our other producer Nick Thomas, and see what they have to say, if they like it at all, before I do anything else. And then if they like it, I'm gonna try to make it a little more svelte, just with black. I'm gonna go over it with black and just make it less sketchy and more clear, concise. And then I'll be able to upload it to Photoshop and take out all the black lines, and then hopefully have a cool image with a transparent background. But we'll see. So hopefully they like it. We'll see if they have any notes or thoughts, and then we'll make the edits, and then we'll have a logo. 10 minutes. I realized I didn't explain before. We thought that we would go for a kind of old Hollywood style for Lunar Eclipse because it takes place in so many eras, like different decades. There's people from 1910 or 1915 or 1800s or 1400s, 9th century, non-standard present time. And so we decided to go with kind of like an old Hollywood kind of aesthetic, but then the main character is in a non-standard present, or the Virgil character is kind of in a non-standard present. And so that's why we kind of just chose a style that's geometric and kind of just timeless, I would think, but still stylistic, really stylistic. And we are taking our cues visually from a lot of noir, and so it just seemed like a good idea to use a kind of old Hollywood Art Deco 1920s 30s kind of aesthetic. Originally I wrote the character to be in the 1930s, and then just kind of put them in a non-standard present. Sometimes I write people in previous decades just because I don't want to deal with phones and the internet, because I don't understand them, and I think that plays, it's hard to incorporate them, or I'm not interested in incorporating them in plays because I think it's like incorporating a scene where all the characters are kind of reading books to each other. It's like, why would you in something that's supposed to be live and in person and deal with human connection and human interaction, why would you add in something that's a barrier to human connection? And so I don't really, sometimes I think I just set my characters in earlier decades or times before phones and the internet, just because it increases human connection, and I think it's really negative how we really don't connect anymore, mostly because of the phones and because of the internet. We've kind of cordoned ourselves off from each other, and theater is supposed to be the opposite of that. Theater is supposed to be one time that you are able to really come together in a community. So usually no phones. If we have phones, usually they get destroyed. We have one play with a phone in it, and it gets destroyed within the first 10 minutes. So that's how I feel about phones and the internet, and I guess YouTube. But hopefully we can all learn something from this. Look at this lighting. Yeah. I'll just keep talking. Okay. Well, anyway. So my thoughts on this looks good too. Look at this. Yeah. It's a sexy glass of water. A tall drink of water. Hey, Jackie. Okay, so the drawing was approved by all parties, so now I'm going to ink it with Le Pen.
Feeling out of view. Pick up your hat, close up your flag, get out, get under the moon. When you make a date, any old night, you're gonna meet your sweetie soon, are you? Huh? Well then pick up your hat, close up that flag, get out, get under the moon. Underneath that bright silvery light, you'll be feeling better soon. Pick up your hat, close up your flag, get out, get under the moon. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Walk, walk, kiss and then walk again and talk, talk, kiss and then talk again. Oh boy, sweethearts are all in tune. I mean it, when it's raining out, oh stay in your flat, but on a lovely night in June, pick up your hat, close up your flag, get out, get under the moon.
Hi, good morning. We're still working on the logo for Luna Eclipse. Today I'm gonna try to do a little bit of Photoshop on it. Basically, I tried to scan it into the computer. The scanner's not working, so I took a photo of it, and so now I'm gonna try to enhance the black lines so that I can pull them out in Photoshop. This is like literally the one thing that I know how to do in Photoshop. Everything, I basically taught myself a bunch of different myriad skills to make sure that the theater company is successful. I used to have a teacher in high school who would say, when you would kind of complain, when girls would come up to him I went to an all-girls school, when girls would come up to him to complain about how, oh, this is impossible, this project is impossible, we can't do it, he would always just say, pretend like you want to do it. And I always thought that was good advice for stuff like this, especially because, I mean, like, you could convince yourself, like, oh yeah, I want a logo for my upcoming production, but if you honestly ask yourself, like, do you want to make the logo? And I mean, usually the answer, like, going through all the work is no, but you, like, want it to be done, you want to have it done, you want to have done it, but do you want to actually do it? And so sometimes I just, pretend like it's something that I actually want to do, and so I've taught myself several skills that way, and so Photoshop, this is one of them. I'm going to try to see, I don't know if I can share, I know that there's a way to share a screen, and I'm going to try to figure it out real quick, and if not, I'm just going to film the screen, and we're just going to live with that. But, yeah, and then you can just kind of watch me. I kind of go back and forth between this and a tutorial, because I get confused with all the layers and things in Photoshop. It bewilders me why it's not set up to, like, be understandable more, like, to the layman. But yeah, I'm gonna try to film that, and then maybe you have a new skill that you can use in your life when you're doing line drawings. Okay, scratch that. This is definitely not going to be a tutorial, but I'm just going to walk you through some of the things that I struggled with and how I did what I did. Here, I'm increasing the brightness and the contrast of the white and the black drawing, the white background and the black lines, to really make the lines emphasize. If you actually want a really good tutorial, I use 10,000s. It's his he was just basically the first result in YouTube, and for a good reason. It was a really helpful tutorial. There was a screenshot of it. So basically I'm just increasing the brightness and the contrast to really make the lines stark so that I can select all, and it actually brings out the drawing. And then I inverted the selection so that I'm only choosing the black lines, and then I put those in a quick mask. So I copied them and I pasted them in a quick mask, which is basically pasting them on top of the transparent background. So, and then you're basically just pasting like the shape of the lines. And so you have to then fill it, and you can fill it with a color, like here I'm filling it with black. I accidentally didn't invert it there. So that's what happens when you don't invert the lines. Like, you have to invert the selection. So at first I did it in black just to, like, test it. And then after that, I decided that white was going to be better, because white is better for us just in terms of pasting this as like a stamp on a lot of things that we do. There, I did it right with the black lines. You can kind of just see the black lines, and the checkerboard background means it's transparent. But when we'd use these for stamps on our postcards or on the background of our website or on a lot of photos, white is better, because we do a lot of kind of Caravage-esque photo shoots where everything's really dark. It's a really dark background. Our website is that way. A lot of things that we do are very, moody and dark. And so white is best for us for using on different things. So that's me saving the drawing, and now I have it. So here's the result right there with the Luna Eclipse, the kind of old Hollywood lettering. There's the original drawing, and here's an example of it on our work.
Walk,
Come see Little Eclipse.
kiss and then walk again and talk. Talk, kiss and then talk again. Oh boy, sweetheart.